You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And let me tell you, you do not want to miss a single utterance in this podcast. I do not normally say that. I mean, I'm serious about that. We have a lot of amazing things to get into that you are only going to hear here. And we're going to start with, of course, the great President Trump. And my friend Neil in the United Kingdom.
Neil,
right?
UK.
Yeah, it's UK Neil. Is it Neil?
UK Neil.
UK Neil.
That's right.
UK Neil sent me... See, I have to go to Europe. I have to go to the United Kingdom to find out what's going on in America because our fake news media over here silence everything. But UK Neil, I want to give credit where credit is due. He sent me a clip of Donald Trump. This is a lost secret interview with Donald Trump that no one really has seen. And it explains everything that is going on right now with Trump and with politics, with the MAGA movement and the entire everything that's going on. I'm going to play this uninterrupted, and then we're going to talk about it. This is a lost interview that's suppressed by the American media about President Trump, and you'll hear President Trump in this interview explaining everything that's going on right now. Listen to this.
You see, I'm so loyal to people. Maybe I'm loyal to a fault, but I'm so loyal to people that when somebody's slightly disloyal to me, I look upon it as a great act of horror.
Then how are you different than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and not
loyal? I tell you
loyal?
what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people that I think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is great. You know, I love getting even with people, but I will. I would have wiped.
You love getting even.
Oh, absolutely. You don't believe in the eye for the eye. You do.
No.
I know you well enough. I think you do. But anyway, but
tell me. I mean, you're going to get even with some people.
Yeah, I know. If given the opportunity, I will get even with some people that were disloyal to me.
Okay. This is amazing. Now, let me just talk about this, and then President Trump is smoking out so many fake MAGA disloyal people. I mean, you know, I've got a list of names. I don't have it with me. I've been keeping it at the radio station. Candace Owens is the first name on the list, okay? But all of these people that claimed to be MAGA and Trump supporters on a dime have turned against him and abandoned him. And this is something that I think Trump does on occasion because he knows that one of the biggest problems he had in his first term was disloyal people, people that he thought were working with him, who were undermining him and then appointing special counsels and everything. And as he's getting ready for his run for his second and non-consecutive term, he's smoking out those who are disloyal to him.
Do you think, because you had said when he first was attacking DeSantis, which really upset me and many
upset
people,
a lot of people,
kind of came out of nowhere. And the first thing you said to me was, I trust Trump and there's a reason he's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, there's no good reason for this. This is crazy. And you just stuck to your guns. And a lot of people said DeSantis and Trump were in on this together to see who was loyal and who was not. I don't know if DeSantis was in on this, but now I'm starting to think that Trump pulled this little stunt kind of out of nowhere, out of left field, attacking DeSantis to kind of throw that out there because he's probably been hearing a lot of chatter behind the scenes. DeSantis this, you know, he should run and all this. And he's been seeing it on the news, how they want to replace him with DeSantis, all this stuff. And maybe he attacked him just to kind of see what would happen. I feel like Trump kind of likes to create these little mini dramas and then kind of steps back to kind of see where the chips fall. And I think that's how he approaches business and possibly how he approaches life.
Well, he has definitely smoked out a lot of disloyal
after
fake
hearing
MAGA.
that interview, that seems to be very in line. And one thing I do know about Trump, if you watch interviews of him from long ago, he is completely unchanged.
Mm-hmm.
He is the same now as he was 30, 40 years ago.
Yep.
He really is. And it works for him. It's been a formula. His personality has not faltered or changed. So if that's the way he felt during that interview, I'm sure he feels that way still today.
Yeah. So DeSantis actually, for the very first time today, was asked by a reporter about the Trump attacks. And I have that and DeSantis' response, which I'll get to in just a minute.
Oh, good.
So stand by for that. You will not want to miss. See, I told you there's not one utterance on this program today that you want to miss because it's
lots of good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Before we get to that, though, there not only has he smoked out a lot of fake MAGA, more MAGA that are fake MAGA are being smoked out of the rat holes too, and we're finding out who's on whose side. You know, I do want to say though that talking to callers on the radio this week, it's been very exciting shows, great callers, and. Can I tell you guys a little secret that I did today? I told some people about this before I went on the air. Okay, so of course I know what happened in Arizona with Kari Lake and Hobbs and all that stuff. And I said, in fact, I told the moderators in my YouTube chat. You know, I have moderators in my YouTube live chat. Which, by the way, thank you to the moderators in the YouTube chat. And everyone out there, please thank them because I have moderators. I don't have to pay close attention to the trolls in the chat that spam the chat on
really
YouTube.
Good.
And it allows me to focus in on the content of the broadcast. Mm-hmm. And the moderators doing that elevates the quality of the program so many times I couldn't even put a number on it. But anyway.
They do a great job.
Yeah, I have a secret place where I can talk to the moderators and the moderators can talk to me. And, so they can, I know what's going on and they tell me what's going on. And before I went on the radio this morning, I was so excited about doing this because I decided I'm going to troll the trolls. And I couldn't wait just to do it. I had to tell somebody, and you were sleeping, Kathy, because it was, early morning. So I left a message for all the moderators and I said, I'm going to troll the trolls today on the show. I said, I am not going to mention Kari Lake or Arizona. I said, because all the Democrats are expecting me to go on the air
they want to talk about it
and be doom and gloom and upset and everything else. I said, I'm not going to mention anything to do with Kari Lake until someone calls about it. And I went on for quite a while. Phone's very busy. Finally, someone got through and they were very upset and disappointed. They said, I thought you would have started talking about Kari Lake. And I said, no. And I didn't even comment on see, this is what's going on. We have so much exciting and greatness going on right now with President Trump and the MAGA Republican movement. They call us MAGA Republicans. We'll take it, MAGA Republicans, deplorable. Trump is our king. I don't care. The MAGA king, whatever you want to call it. It's fine with me. We embrace everything you call us, right?
Cockroaches.
Yeah, I'll embrace that one too.
That's the white women.
Yeah, that's me. I'll be that. I'll be a white woman too. You can call me anything you want. I don't care. I'll embrace it. But anyway, we have so much excitement going on. And if you were listening to the callers calling me on the radio today, could you hear the disappointment and the depression in the liberal callers on the program today? Because I was in such a positive, good mood about all these great things going on with Trump and this financial scandal with FTX and everything. They're going nuts.
Well, I want to say this thing about Trump smoking out disloyal people.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't just do that for his own benefit. He does that for our benefit. Mm-hmm. He wants us to know who's loyal and who's not.
That's right.
He wants to make it public. And let's see, who did he smoke out? He did not smoke out DeSantis. But I haven't heard your clip.
Well, wait till you hear the clip. You haven't heard the clip.
Does he attack Trump?
You're going to have to wait with everybody else. I'm not even play this for Kathy.
He smoked out Winsome Sears.
Winsome Sears got smoked out. Candace Owens. Not only are they fake MAGA.
Dave Rubin.
They were fake blacks for Trump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So much for Blexit, Candace.
Yeah. I mean, he made her. a household name.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he talks about.
Winsome Sears.
He gets upset when people trash him after he made their career.
You know what? Winsome Sears in Trump's second term could have been secretary of something. She could have been in the cabinet. That's done now. Winsome Sears, you idiot.
You're right. I think he had a lot of people stab him in the back. And I think over the next 2 years, I think he really wants to weed out the wheat from the chaff, as they say in the Bible, and he wants to really figure out before he wins who he can trust and who he can't trust.
That's right. Now, before I play this clip of DeSantis, this is the very first time DeSantis was asked about the Trump attack.
I'm getting nervous.
Now, before I play that, I want to tell you guys that it is Christmas shopping season. There's no better place to do your Christmas shopping than MyPillow.com. And with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, there are huge, huge savings. Now, Kathy and I have pretty much every MyPillow product there is almost. We have almost everything. We live in a MyPillow household. But the MyPillow product, they're all great. But I'll tell you the one that is the most life-changing out of all the MyPillow products, and they're all great and do everything that Mike Lindell says they do. They're just wonderful. But the one that's the most life-changing is the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, which is 40% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. This makes a great Christmas gift. If you get it for your spouse, you get the benefit of it too. But it's great for the kids. It's great for your employees. It's great for mom and dad, grandma, grandpa. The 3-inch mattress topper turns your entire bed into a big MyPillow. And Kathy and I have been sleeping on ours for about a year and a half, maybe a little longer than a year and a half now. And it's 40% off with the promo code Kane. It comes in all mattress sizes from twin all the way up to California King and Split King and every size in between. We have a queen size bed and it fits perfectly. It has a strap on each corner. It stays in place perfectly. It doesn't move. The cover is machine washable and dryable. And a thing about this is, and this is just absolutely amazing. For the first time in my adult life, I wake up when my alarm goes off. The first night that we slept on it, it was a Saturday. I woke up Sunday and the sun was out. I always wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning on the weekends because I get up so early during the week. And that MyPillow mattress topper, you get such a full, well-rested night's sleep like you've never experienced before. So if you think you need a new mattress, you don't. You need a 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, 40% off at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. All right. So DeSantis had a press conference today, and for the first time, a reporter asked Ron DeSantis about the Trump attacks against him. I'm going to play this entire thing uninterrupted. And then we're going to talk about it. And it's absolutely very interesting and epic. And you have to listen very closely to pick up on what I'm going to share with you when we're done with this. Okay, so this is today. This is brand new.
I'd like to know what you think about Trump's big announcement and some of the less than flattering comments he has made about you.
Well, one of the things I've learned in this job is when you're leading, when you're getting things done, you take incoming fire. That's just the nature of it. I roll out of bed in the morning. I've got corporate media outlets that have a spasm, just the fact that I'm getting up in the morning, and it's constantly attacking. And this is just what's happened. I don't think any governor got attacked more, particularly by corporate media, than me over my 4-year term. And yet, I think what you learn is all that's just noise. And really what matters is, are you leading? Are you getting in front of issues? Are you delivering results for people? And are you standing up for folks? And if you do that, then none of that stuff matters. And that's what we've done. We focused on results and leadership. And, at the end of the day, I would just tell people to go check out the scoreboard from last Tuesday night. The fact of the matter is... the fact of the matter is, it was the greatest Republican victory in the history of the state of Florida.
Okay. Now, if you notice there, not only did he not say one negative thing about President Trump, he didn't even infer that he was talking about the media criticism of him. He did not only did he not say Trump's name or target Trump, in his response. He didn't even imply that he was talking about Trump.
He kind of made it like the media was making too much of it.
That's right, which shows that he's with him. And then, of course, in the middle of the night at about 1, it's hard to tell the exact time on these, but on True Social at about 1:30 in the morning, President Trump put up 2 posts on True Social, and one of them was the campaign ad of Ron DeSantis it showed his baby dressed in the MAGA baby clothes, So,
I remember that ad.
Yeah, and he said, "Thanks, Ron." And he
That's
put
his
that
way of like smoothing things over.
That's right. So this idea that there's some big MAGA divide between DeSantis and Trump, I think we can put that to bed now because DeSantis didn't take the bait. Looks like Trump, if he even meant it and wasn't just using that as part of his smoking out, that everything is going well. So that is incredibly epic, and that is not what people were expecting. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If the television cable news pick up on that DeSantis clip, they're only going to play the end of it. They're going to try to edit that to make it sound like he's targeting Trump and attacking Trump. That's why I played the whole thing in its entirety, the question and the entire response, because I want you to hear it. Because the media, there's no way they're going to play the whole thing. They're going to play the end where he says, "Look at the results Tuesday night," and the media are going to use that and imply that he's talking about Trump, because their whole fake narrative is Trump lost last Tuesday, which is not true. He had big wings.
He gave them an answer that they really couldn't do anything with.
On purpose.
And he's very smart and he's very good at his responses to the press.
Yeah.
And
it's awesome.
It was a very ambiguous kind of statement that he said where they're kind of like probably thinking, okay, they really can't go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
You're right. He just didn't attack
Isn't that
Trump.
amazing?
He didn't mention Trump. He just kind of was like implying the media makes too much out of all these things.
It's awesome.
He's got a thick skin.
And he's smart.
He's extremely intelligent. I mean, the guy was a JAG lawyer, went to Harvard. He's not stupid. And his wife said he put himself through school. And I believe it. He did not grow up rich. Mm-hmm. He grew up in Tampa or whatever, a Florida boy, and not a wealthy family. Very ambitious guy, for sure, and extremely successful. And I think he is loyal to Trump. And I'm guessing they probably have had a phone conversation since all this happened.
You can tell something's happened.
Something's happened. To me, DeSantis seems like a very laid back, kind of good old boy type of guy. And I don't think he gets his feathers ruffled very easily. Yeah. He's not thin-skinned. I don't think he's the kind of guy that, somebody might slight him a little bit and he gets all bent out of shape. I think he lets a lot of things roll off his back. Because I've never seen him get jarred over something. He gets attacked all the time, like he said, and he really doesn't let it bother him. And I think he said that's part of the job, and you have to. He doesn't seem to have a really easily bruised ego.
Not at all.
So that's good.
So everything that's happened in the last 24 hours between Trump and DeSantis is incredible. And we've only just begun. We've got so much more to talk about. And I'm telling you, don't miss the next segment. I've got something in the next segment that is so revealing, so amazing. You do not want to miss it. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this break.
The Payne County Flea Market will be hosting its last event for 2022 on November 19th. The Payne County Flea Market is a marketplace where vendors across Payne County and beyond come to share and sell their crafts and more. If you have a garage full of stuff, it's selling time, y'all. This event is free to the public. Every visit to the Payne County Flea Market is a new experience. Whether you're looking for trinkets, tools, handcrafted items, a deal, or a new hobby, we're always welcoming new vendors, artists, food trucks, and even online resellers. For more info, please visit thepaynecountyfleamarket.com. Bring your family and friends for a day of adventure. We look forward to seeing you and your loved ones. thepaynecountyfleamarket.com. Millions of kids ride the bus to and from school every day. When your child is new to bus riding, there are safety rules they need to know to make their journey enjoyable. The book from author Millie Donofrio, The Bus Ride to School, available on Amazon, tells children how much fun a school bus ride can be if you listen and follow the safety rules of the bus driver. The Bus Ride to School is filled with great illustrations, as well as a cute melodic tone to it. It's educational and fun, perfect for your children, grandchildren, and teachers for class classroom reading, The Bus Ride to School, from author Millie D'Onofrio. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Finding cool and unique gifts for the nerd in your life can be tricky. Luckily, LVL Uplife on Etsy makes it easy to find awesome accessories and apparel. Cuddle up with their Jack Skellington Nightmare Before Christmas throw pillow and their comfy Ditto Pokemon blanket. Add some interdimensional fun to any desk with their Rick and Morty mouse pad, stocked with Pokemon, League of Legends, anime, Rick and Morty, and much, much more. There's something for everyone. Give your friends and family, or maybe yourself, the gift of epic nerd accessories and apparel from LVL Uplife on Etsy. Go to Etsy.com and search LVL Uplife. That's all one word. LVL Uplife on Etsy. Order now. Want to know where all the bodies are buried? Author Robert Allen Miltenberg holds the key to that question in his book, Pool Boy to the Mob, Everybody Out of the Pool. Author Robert Allen Miltenberg holds the key to that question in his book, Pool Boy to the Mob. Welcome to Mob-Ammy Beach. This book is a fictionalized account of Miltenberg working at a mob-owned Miami Beach hotel in the 70s. If you're a fan of The Godfather, Goodfellas, or The Sopranos, you will love this story that's full of colorful characters and wisecracking wise guys. It's a story with everything from Playboy bunnies and weaponized parrots to shattering the glass ceiling and getting away with murder, all in paradise. This is a wise guy tale you've never heard. Surrounded by pools, the trick for Bobby Moskowitz was not slipping in the one thicker than water. Bobby lived to tell the tales, and now you can read all about it. The funniest mob novel since Jimmy Breslin's The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. Pool Boy to the Mob, Everybody Out of the Pool, from author Robert Allen Miltenberg, available on Amazon. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. All right, so even more excitement. Listen to this. The director of the FBI was testifying at a House committee today, Christopher Wray. And January 6th came up. And, you know, January 6th, they use January 6th for everything, right? They got that whole, you know what they do with January 6th. Okay, so listen to this. This is Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, asked a question which should have been no. But he couldn't say no. And sometimes no, in a thing like this, you know, even not saying no, you know, no matter what you say, it means yes, right? Listen to this. This is Christopher Wray, FBI director. This is today.
Did the FBI have confidential human sources embedded within the January 6th protesters on January 6th of 2021?
Well, Congressman, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I have to be very careful about what I can say about when.
Even now, because that's what you told us 2 years ago.
May I finish? About when we do and do not, and where we have and have not used confidential human sources. But to the extent that there's a suggestion, for example, that the FBI's confidential human sources or FBI employees in some way instigated or orchestrated January 6th, that's categorically false.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has expired.
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Director Wray,
confidential human
gentleman's time has expired.
Yeah, but he doesn't need any more time. That was a great, oh my goodness. That tells you everything you need to know. And let me tell you, the Democrats have lost control of the House of Representatives. This is so big. Losing the House of Representatives means we have the committees, including the January 6th committee, and there's going to be a new committee called the Committee Investigating the January 6th Committee. We're going to get to the bottom of all of this stuff that happened on January 6th and all of these things that Pelosi has been sitting on and has not been released is going to get released. And I'll tell you, some of you that have listened to me for a while, I went to Mar-a-Lago on Inauguration Day. I was one of the last people to see President Trump and in his first term. I saw President Trump in about the last 10 to 15 minutes of his first term. Okay, so I was right there. And there was a lot of MAGA people there welcoming Trump back to Florida. He was still in his first term, the last few minutes. And there was a guy there. I talked about this at the time. He was dressed in Trump gear like I haven't seen. He even had Trump socks on. Okay, this guy had a Trump headband on. You know, he was dressed like a 70s athlete, like gym headband, wristbands, you know, and they were all Trump. And there were 2 or 3 Biden people across the street, and this guy was trying to get the Trump people to go across the street and start something with him. And everyone started yelling at him, "Fed, get out of here! Fed, get out of here! You're a Fed! He's a Fed!" Da, da, da. And what did he do? He walked away. We never saw him. He didn't even argue. It was like, okay, you got me. You know, this exchange right here with Christopher Wray, that the answer he gave, it seems like a non-answer, but is yes. And you know, January 6th, we got to get to the bottom of what really happened there. They used January 6th for everything, okay, for everything against us, and they are going to do it for the rest of the time. This next clip is Schumer, this snake Schumer, who's in a lot of trouble over this crypto FTX scandal, which we'll talk about a little bit. But this is Schumer yesterday. Listen to this. And this is all, notice that he's using January 6th here. And, you know, there are MAGA Republicans coming into both houses, right? We're going to have MAGA Republicans in the Senate now. Listen to this.
Because Democrats had a strong agenda here and did things for the American people, we won. And despite
like raise our gas prices, cause record inflation, all those things, yeah.
The negativity and divisiveness, the threats of violence, and even the violence itself that occurred with MAGA Republicanism dominating the country, the American people stepped back from the precipice and chose progress and getting things done rather than the voices of divisiveness, nastiness, and lack of complete truth and honor.
Yeah, see, that's all. He's all talking about January 6th there. So, you know, January 6th is never officially. It's going to be like, you know, the Kennedy assassination. It's going to be like Area 51.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We're never going to have an official government report that says this is what happened, and there were embedded people there, and there was Antifa and BLM, and
it doesn't matter.
And
Look
Feds.
at the Russia collusion. Trump was impeached.
Yeah.
They did an investigation. They found nothing there, and they still talk about
That's
it
right.
like it was real.
So we're never going to get an official government report on January 6th exposing all these things that Christopher Wray let the cat out of the bag, didn't he there? Boy, oh boy. And they're always going to use it against us. But when we take over the House, a lot of information is going to come out that we don't have right now. Things like this. You know, like the Republican was shut up by the Democrat chair of your time's expired.
That's what they do.
But our guys will be the chairmen of the committee. So they won't be able to do that. Our guys will be allowed to get extra time.
The media is really underplaying the win in the House. We have one more seat to get, and there's like still.
And I don't even think that includes Boebert has one.
So we're going to get it.
Yeah.
We just need one more. And they're really not even talking about this.
No, because they want this narrative that Trump lost everything.
Well, they
when
can
he
ignore
didn't.
it all they want. In January, they're gonna come see how this red wave really is going to affect them. I wanted to. Oh, I didn't know if I thought you.
Well,
were
let's get to that in just a little bit. But this January 6th thing is only going to be one of the many investigations in the new MAGA Republican House. The other one is this, okay? And I was talking about this on the radio today, and I see that more and more people are talking about it, and this is huge. This is the money laundering scandal that's been exposed with all the leading Democrats, which includes Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, the entire Democrat Party, with this cryptocurrency business and the Ukraine. Now, during all of this ridiculous Ukraine funding, we've all been talking about they're laundering money, the Democrats, through Ukraine. And this FTX thing has come out, and a lot of people, this really burns me. And I talk about this a lot. A lot of people say, well, we knew all that. You know, all these people that know everything. We knew all that they were laundering the money. No, we suspect things, and then we find out things with evidence and facts that back up our suspicions, right? It's like you suspect someone of murder, and then you find evidence proving that they did it. And what we found is that not only is this FTX scandal the largest financial scandal in the history of humanity, and that's not an exaggeration. This is the biggest political crime that has ever been committed by either of the two political parties. So they passed this Ukraine funding, the Democrats, because they control both houses in the White House, right? They send trillions and quadrillions of dollars. I mean, I know there's no such number as a quadrillion, but they've sent so much money. It's more money than we can imagine in the human mind. So it might as well be a quadrillion dollars. It's like infinity. It's like endless. And then all of a sudden, Zelensky takes $100 million and invests it in this FTX crypto exchange, which seems really bizarre because his country is on the verge of collapse due to the Russian invasion, we're told, and he's become an international panhandler asking for money to save Ukraine. Why would he take $100 million that they could use in this terrible time that they're facing and put it in the most risky investment you can, cryptocurrency? Well, now we found out this week that Zelensky gave $100 million of U.S. taxpayer money to this crypto company, FTX. And Sam Bankman, and Bankman is a good name for him because he's like a man who's a bank. His name's Bankman, B-A-N-K, man. He became the second largest donor to the Democrats. The first one's George Soros, and he's number 2. That's pretty big. And he donated about $33 million to the Democrats, including Nancy Pelosi's PAC, and funded Fetterman's campaign against Dr. Oz. The Democrats funded their entire midterm campaigning that we just went through using this money that was laundered from passing the bill, the taxpayer money to Ukraine through the crypto company, and then he donated it to them. That is so big. And Bankman was at the White House meeting with Biden's senior advisors 2 weeks ago. And I'm sure what the meeting was about was this is about to get found out. What are we going to do? It was a strategy meeting. Yeah. And their strategy was pretty poor because he was just holed up in the Bahamas where he was living anyway.
How did this all come out in the open?
It's a little complex. But there was another company that called it out. They kind of did like the equivalent of a margin call. Another company called them out about what was going on. People started withdrawing their money, and there wasn't enough money, right?
Oh.
Like it's like a Ponzi, like Bernie Madoff. But the Democrats, I'm sure they laundered money in other ways too that we don't know about. But we know that they were laundering money in this specific instance to fund their entire midterm election campaign. And not only is this the largest financial scandal, it's also the largest political scandal. And what we're sure to find out, which I'm very excited to find this out, is how long ago did the media know about this? You know, we just learned about this like 2 days ago. And I'm sure the media has known about this for weeks, and they sat on it until after the election, this huge scandal. This is the biggest scandal of our lifetime. And let me tell you something. The Republican-controlled House are going to have major, major investigations into this, and they are in big trouble.
Seems like they have a lot to look into. They'll be very busy over the next 2 years.
And for them to say that we have lost when we control – the House of Representatives controls the Treasury. There's the two houses of Congress. Those of you that are outside of the United States, I'll just explain what Americans know. The Congress is in two houses, the House and the Senate. The House is the most powerful of the two branches. The Senate's small. There's only 100 senators, 2 from each state. And the House is the larger branch and 435 members of the House, and they control the money from the federal government. That's where the real power is. That's why the Speaker of the House is so important and is such a powerful person. So the Democrats can pass no more legislation, no more Ukraine funding. And we cut off, not only do we cut off their legislation, we cut off their money through the House of Representatives. And we also have committees to investigate all of this corruption that the January 6th committee corruption, this money laundering. This money laundering thing is it's a financial scandal, largest one ever, $22 billion in this Ponzi. Plus, there's a campaign finance element to it. And there's also criminal money laundering, and all the top Democrats. This guy just at the White House 2 weeks ago, meeting with Biden's senior advisors on this. You know, it was a panic. This is coming out. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it was probably a strategy session to keep the media quiet about it until after the election. So this is massive. And then all of a sudden, Zelensky says yesterday, well, the war's winding down. Oh, really? Oh, how convenient, because he's not going to get any more money. So we didn't win the Senate, although there's a way we may still get it, but we got the House, and boom, that's it. I mean, this is so huge. This is so exciting. They got caught. The Democrats have gotten caught. And a cool thing about this money laundering operation is everyone is talking about it.
Yeah, and like I said, when the media is spinning this like, you know, it was a huge loss for us and all this. I don't know why when we won the House, and that's really significant. So when January comes around, you'll see a major shift in politics and in the tone of what's being looked at, what's being investigated. Liz Cheney and those clowns will be gone. The January 6th committee will be pretty much gone and dissolved, and the focus will stop being on Trump on January 6th, and it'll start shifting towards this. The Democrats will be in the hot seat, at least for the next 2 years, and a lot of things will come to light. But it gets frustrating when people like in your chat or listeners are like, well, nothing's going to happen. That may be so. You never know.
That's not true.
But in politics, it is true that people rarely are held accountable. That's across the board. That's politics. But the voters know. And it comes to light, and it does change minds, and it does affect people. And even if nobody goes to jail or pays a price for this, even though they should, but say nobody does, it still is important to be talked about and to be out in the open. And it's important to be investigated because people pay attention and they watch these things, and people do lose their jobs over stuff like this. They might not go to jail, but people do lose their jobs.
A lot of people go to prison over this, a lot.
We'll see what happens, but just saying, well, nothing's going to happen is not a reason to not talk about it or follow it. There's a lot here. There's a lot that'll be discovered. The truth always comes out eventually.
See, the thing about this financial scandal, I'll finish telling you about it in just a moment, but I want to first thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And we have some new Patreon supporters. Welcome to our new Patreon supporters. And, you know, Patreon supporters get commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode, and there are other perks as well. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, that's Coral Springs Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, and Rome, Wisconsin. Now, if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. And also, there's a link on my website, briancraigshow.com. So go to briancraigshow.com. You'll see a link to our Patreon page, and it walks you through on how to become a Patreon supporter. See, this is the thing I'm starting to see today about this FTX thing. This moves beyond the realm of normal politics, okay? $22 billion was lost. And you keep hearing these. If you watch the financial report, they have all the financial reporters. Like if you watch Fox, they have a Fox business reporter and everything else. They don't know what's going on in the world of crypto, okay? They know about the stock market, and they talk about it like it's the stock market.
Yeah, crypto's one of those elusive things that people really don't know too much about, but it's kind of there.
Well, I know about it.
Young people do. Like our daughter knows a lot about it.
There you go. Okay. So they keep talking. These financial reporters don't know what they're talking about, and they keep talking about, well, retail investors were hit the hardest. That's just something they make up. The people that were hit the hardest, I guess, technically fit retail investors, but that's just these financial reporters trying to act like they know what they're talking about when they're talking about crypto. The people that are invested in crypto that were hurt the hardest are young people, some of them teenagers, most of them in their 20s, right? Gen Z, Zoomers, Generation Z. And I watch a lot of things on YouTube that involve cryptocurrency. I'm not into cryptocurrency as an investor, but I find it interesting, and I follow it because it's so strange. It's nothingness. In fact, this guy, Kathy Bankman, he gave this interview on a podcast a week or so ago, and he said, yeah, it's a Ponzi. And they asked him to describe the value in crypto, And I was telling this to William Youngerman, our gold guy, on the radio today. And this is what Bankman said. He said, well, you see that box? This was on the podcast like a week ago. He says that box, it's a box. It's worth nothing, right? But if you tell people it's worth something and then you start selling that box, people are investing in that box for a lot of money. All of a sudden it has value. That's crypto. So that's, which means it's nothing.
Yeah.
The people that lost everything are young people. What I find interesting about these YouTubers, and they're on other platforms too, but what I find fascinating about people on YouTube that are young, that are in crypto, some of them are rich, right? They still live with their parents. They might be 25, but kids don't grow up as fast as they used to. They're 25.
That's why these kids are rich. They have no bills. They live with mommy and daddy, and their parents pay everything.
Well, they're rich. They live at home with mom and dad. They don't even have a car, but some of them are worth $1 million.
They never leave their
$500,000 because
on crypto,
right? And that was all wiped out. And a lot of these people have huge followings on TikTok and on YouTube and on other platforms. And some of them may have lost $2,000 or something, but they have YouTube channels about it. So they're going to be on social media talking about how much they lost with FTX. And that's going to drive the discussion outside of the world of partisan politics into the financial crimes of Biden, Pelosi, and Schumer.
I'm curious to see where this story goes.
It's going to go to prison. People are going now listen, Schumer, Pelosi, and Biden aren't going to prison, okay? But Democrats, people that work in high-level positions in the Democrat Party will. And if you want to tell me I'm delusional, tell me I'm delusional, but it's going to happen.
I'm worried that the media is going to squash this.
They won't be able to.
They squashed the Hunter Biden. They need a Miranda Devine to write a book about it, or somebody to really expose.
This is what I'm telling you.
What's going on?
These young,
they bury stories all the time.
These young people that have lost everything. Some of them have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, I know what you're saying.
They have more people watching them on YouTube.
True.
Than CNN has in prime time.
Have you seen any YouTube videos on this yet?
It's just starting today. Okay. So, and I'm not on TikTok. I don't use TikTok because that's the CCP. I don't use TikTok. But TikTok is filled with this. Now, listen, we're going to take a break. When we come back, there is more to talk about. I got another soundbite that will make you physically ill. When you'll be really upset when you know what Fox News is doing is criminal. Then we'll get to this thing that you were talking about, Kathy, too. So, guys, don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy, and our dog Nina is sleeping right next to us, snoring away. You might hear her in the background. There you go. There you go. You got a little bit of a snore there. A little bit of a snore. She's very interested in the program. Yes. She's depressed over losing all of her money in her FTX crypto.
Nina's into crypto.
All right, listen. We'll be right back after this.
Comedy podcast fans, there's a podcast that will have you on the floor laughing. Gene and Ozzy bring you the company of two fun-loving and joke-cracking old friends. They're two old friends that discuss all kinds of things, but no controversial subjects and no politics. It's a fun and clean time you can count on to make you smile. It's perfect for your drive to or home from work. Take a break from the stresses of life and have a chuckle as you listen to Gene and Ozzy discuss your favorite topics.
Hey, I'm Gene.
Hola, I'm Ozzy. Welcome to the Gene and Ozzy Show.
Did you want to be Darth Vader?
Never.
What?
No, that was not my favorite character on Star Wars. And sometimes you had no idea how to even play the game. I can't describe Joust to you. I had no idea what that game was all about.
Stuart had more toys than I did.
You know, I got to meet the Stuart one of these days. Is he alive?
He's still alive. He's our age, and
at our age, you got to ask: is he alive? Like the kids ruled the world in the 1980s. Everyone,
we ruled the world in the 1980s.
Yeah, of course, parents still beat us to death, but we felt like we had the upper hand on.
Parents had the real control, but in our brains, we ruled the world. The thing about my Aunt Lizzie was she had a smoker's voice.
And it was like this. And see your Aunt Lizzie.
Sounds like you were alfalfa in school.
Oh, it was terrible. Beyond your imagination how terrible I looked during school days. What were the shoes that we would wear in the 70s and 80s?
Buster Brown shoes.
Buster Browns. Buster Browns.
The Gene and Ozzy Show, brought to you by your favorite host, Gene and Ozzy. Find these two funny guys on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform. Add the Gene and Ozzy Show to your playlist right now. Not all is what it seems to be. Get ready for a powerful story full of love, twist, and turns, as well as uncertainty. From author Aaron Aslan comes the book Through the Clouds, available on Amazon and Audible. In Through the Clouds, meet Lisa, a 30-year-old single mother who felt she was happy with her life until she was swept off her feet by Mark. As their relationship progresses, Lisa discovers Mark is not the man he seems to be and realizes she needs to find the strength from within herself to break free. In Through the Clouds, you will be inspired with Lisa's story. It's a powerful message reminding readers and listeners that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Through the Clouds, from author Aaron Aslan, available on Amazon and Audible. Fill your heart with love and joy this holiday season. Order your copy of The Heart of Christmas, a book to help you prepare your heart for Christmas. Enjoy this beautiful season of hope and share your blessings with those in need. By author Heidi Dalton, The Heart of Christmas is a book and journal for anyone who loves Christmas and wants to make the holiday season meaningful for themselves and their loved ones. You'll learn to decorate your soul and how the sweet aroma of freshly baked cookies relates to your prayer life. You'll see how to intentionally wrap your gifts with love and enjoy meaningful family time with your loved ones. Connect with the feeling of Christmas like never before and feel Jesus' love as you reflect on the gifts that God has blessed us all with. The Heart of Christmas, from author and Christmas lover Heidi Dalton. Visit HeidiDalton.com or Amazon to order your copy for this holiday season right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, I want to play this clip here that makes me so angry. It's from Fox News. And, okay, a lot of our MAGA brothers and sisters who tell us they gave up Fox News, I cut the cable, I haven't watched cable since 78 and all this stuff, they're liars, okay? If our MAGA friends that are depressed and think we lost something and all this stuff, they watch Fox News. That's where they got that depression from, right?
Exactly.
So if you meet someone who's MAGA, and they're depressed and think we lost last week, right? And they tell you they don't watch Fox News, they're liars, okay? And Fox News hates Trump, and everything is negative about Trump. Okay, now, this is one of I can't stand this guy. And I cannot for the life of me, I learned the other day how this happened. I could not understand how this guy was on television. He's filled in with Tucker Carlson. He is very weird looking. He's obese.
Let me see. What does he look like?
You know what I'm talking about. Ben.
McCain's husband.
Yeah. Well, that was the end of the story. Yes, I was going to get to that in a minute because that was the end of the story. That's okay. I was building up to that.
I'm not a mind reader.
I was building up to that. But yes, now we know. Okay, the show's over. Now I'll finish, guys. No, Ben Domenech, this guy, he's overweight. He talks so slow.
Yeah.
And he's a big Trump hater.
Just read his Wikipedia.
Yeah. Oh gosh. He's
learn all about him.
He's a bad guy. So anyway, he's on Fox talking about Trump. Listen.
Donald Trump transformed the Republican Party, from my perspective, in many ways for the better. From the policy perspective side of things, he broke open, I think, an established agenda that needed to be broken open, that needed to consider a lot of different possibilities and to prioritize a different set, a different list of issues than they had in previous years. But he's also, I think, served his purpose in a way that I think many Republicans are satisfied with and they would prefer now to move on.
Okay. He served his Okay. Now, this long-winded, over-winded, boring guy who says a lot of words and says very little, and he's moving on from Trump, and he's too fat for TV, and he's boring, and he talks slower than anyone else, and you can tell he's in love with every word that comes out of his mouth, okay? And all of a sudden, this guy's all over Fox. He's interviewing big-name people. I'm like, who is this guy? And then, as Kathy spilled the beans a minute ago, he's married to Meghan McCain, okay? And he's Meghan McCain's husband, which is rather shocking to me because Meghan McCain, you would think she's an heiress, right? She's an heiress. She's got all that money. She's got the name, and she's famous. You'd think she'd be able to get a better husband. And if you go and look him up on Wikipedia, this guy's been in more trouble than anybody you could imagine. I mean, he's a corrupt man. Go look him up on Wikipedia when you have about an hour and a half to read through his scandals. He's very scandalous. And I don't know what she's doing with this guy, but this is the thing, okay? The McCains hate Trump. I get it. He said, I like people that don't get captured. And, and some MAGA people, I've got a shirt that says that. I like people that don't get captured. And anytime I wear that shirt, there'll be some MAGA people that say, I don't like that. You're disrespecting veterans. John McCain, okay, is no hero. He was a terrible pilot. He crashed. He caused an accident on the aircraft carrier that got people burned. He almost sank the aircraft carrier in Vietnam, okay? And hundreds of guys were burned and lifetime injuries, okay, because of John McCain. And after that, he was still allowed to fly and get captured. And John McCain, I always thought that his injuries, because this was the legend, was through torture in the Hanoi Hilton. That's not true. I met John McCain once and took a photograph with him. This was a long time ago. I was very young, before we knew he was a snake. And I took a picture with him. This was long before he even ran for president. So this was like 94, 95. And, you take a picture with a guy, you put your arm around him. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because of that. Those injuries are not from torture. It's from the crash, when he crashed in Vietnam. And if you look at the pictures right after his capture, they have both of his arms in cast. And his arms healed like in a square, like he's holding a box.
They probably didn't cast him properly.
Exactly. But it wasn't from the torture.
The Hilton.
It wasn't. But anyway, this guy, Ben Domenech, who says, Trump's time is over and the people have tired of King MAGA and they must move on. The emperor has no clothes, whatever, all this stuff. He should be required. When they have him on, it should be like a required disclaimer that this is Meghan McCain's husband. And the McCains hate Trump. When you bring on, think about this. This is Cindy McCain's son-in-law. He is if John McCain were alive, this is John McCain's son-in-law who's Trump's time has passed and he's a scummy bastard. Don't you think that it's relevant?
Well, I love
that he's John McCain's son-in-law.
It is, and I love all these people that just
fake.
Go on TV and make these declarative statements, like as if they say it. It's like, well, I've said it, so it must be so.
You know what what they're doing would be like, okay, on September 12th, 2001, Fox News is doing analysis on the Al-Qaeda terrorist attack that was planned by Osama bin Laden that brought down the buildings, right? And they have someone giving analysis on what happened in Al-Qaeda, and they're Osama bin Laden's son-in-law, and they don't tell you. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not saying that he's a terrorist, this guy, or McCain's a terrorist, but what I'm saying is
there's no full disclosure.
You can't bring on John McCain's son-in-law, Meghan McCain's husband, Cindy McCain's son-in-law, and say, here on the panel, we're joined by Ben Domenech, and he's going to give us analysis on Trump. They've got it like that. The McCain family have a vendetta against Trump, and to bring this dope on and act like he is giving honest, thoughtful analysis is journalistic malpractice. And I'm done with Fox News. I'm done with them. And this is an example of it. And go read him up. Go read about him on look him up on Wikipedia and read it before they update it. He is so scandalous, this guy.
Oh, yeah. He has a long history of plagiarism.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Go read it. Go read it. So, that's that. But it's disgusting.
Well, I want to talk about, real quick, a couple of things that involve the LGBTQ community. There's a lot of people detransitioning now, which I knew would happen. I knew that there would be people, and you're going to start seeing people suing their parents and suing hospitals. And that's when these Dr. Frankenstein surgeries will finally end. So there's an article in the Daily Mail, and I put it in your group. Young people who detransition describe death threats, doxing, intimidation, and being accused of genocide from the cult-like transgender community that they used to be a part of. And that's true. What's happening is they're detransitioning, and they're going back to their original birth form. And they're coming out, they're speaking out publicly about it, and the transgender community is threatening them and intimidating them, and because they don't want the truth to be out there, that transitioning is not all it's cracked up to be. And I feel really bad for these young kids who have parents who are allowing them to have their breasts removed or their penises removed,
or
hysterectomies. I mean, any doctor, and it's illegal in Florida now to do this, thanks to Governor DeSantis. But let me tell you, any doctor who does that to anybody under 18 years old, to me, should be in jail. It's criminal, and the parents should be in jail too, because you're allowing basically scientific experiments on your kid. And I've said this before. Now, my daughter, she's 24 almost, and she's a girl, and she's identifies as a girl. But if she had come to me when she was younger and said to me, Mom, I feel like I'm a boy in a girl's body, it happens. I'm not blind to the truth. And I wouldn't judge her for it or love her any less. And if she said to me, I want to have my breasts removed, I would tell her, absolutely not. I will not sign off on that. But I tell you what, if you decide to do that when you're an adult, and I would advise her to wait till she's like 25 years old. And I would say, please wait till you're mature and old enough to decide and live as a man and whatever you got to do. But I would never, ever, ever take my minor daughter to have her body altered. That is insane to me. But there's thousands of parents that do this now. They have bought into this disgusting, warped lie. And these parents actually, like, they wear these kids as a badge of honor to show everybody how woke they are. They brag about it. They like to have their kids have their penises cut off and their breasts removed so they can brag about it on social media. Like, look how evolved I am.
Look how woke I am.
And another thing about the LGBT, Candace Cameron Bure, who I am not a fan of, I actually cannot stand her. She has left the Hallmark Channel, thank God, because I love Hallmark movies. And I know a lot of you like Candace Cameron. She's a Christian. I get it, but I don't have to like every Christian. I just don't. She annoys me. But she said something that has got her in hot water once again. You know, she's a Christian like her brother, who I love. I love Kirk Cameron. And she said that she was with Hallmark doing movies for years and years. And they just utilized her too much. I got so sick of her. But she now has moved to a new network called GAC, which is like Great America or something. I can't remember what it stands for. It's a Christian-owned company. And they've actually made her an executive in charge of entertainment at this company. She has a huge contract with them now. She left Hallmark. She said the reason she left Hallmark is because this new network will not promote gay marriage. And if you watch Hallmark movies now, I saw a Hallmark Christmas movie last year that had two girls falling in love and getting married. It was a little weird. They're going the route of woke and not traditional. And you know what? Look, I just don't watch those kind of movies. That's all. I just turn the movie off. I'm like, okay, I'm not interested. But I don't like impugn the whole network or boycott Hallmark over it. I just choose not to watch those films. But she said that she left Hallmark because they promote gay marriage, and her new network does not. Well, let me tell you something. That is not the reason Candace Cameron Bure left Hallmark, okay? Because she was with Hallmark for many, many, many years, like a decade, while they were making these kinds of films. She left because they offered her a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let's not get it twisted. They offered her a
she's lying.
ton of money.
She's a liar.
And they gave her an executive position in charge of entertainment. That is why she left. But she is getting a lot of heat for saying that Hallmark does not promote traditional family values. People are calling her a bigot, which is not the first time that's happened. And I will say this in defense of her. You are allowed to have your religious beliefs, okay? I personally don't have a problem with gay marriage or anything. It doesn't bother me, even though I don't necessarily watch the movies. I don't get upset about it. But she is allowed to have her religious beliefs. And calling somebody a bigot because of their religious beliefs is kind of bigoted in itself, don't you think? I mean, Jews have their beliefs, Muslim has their beliefs, Hindus, everybody has their own religious beliefs. So her belief is she doesn't want to promote gay marriage in what she does for her job. That's fine. That's her right. But she's being attacked for it now. People are calling her bigoted. Yeah. Do you think she's bigoted? I don't think that's why she left, but say it is.
It's only bigoted if you like take an action, like she won't work with someone because they're gay or something. That would be like discrimination. Just to have an opinion,
I don't think that's
like
discrimination.
If she wouldn't work with someone because they were gay, it would be. But she's not saying that. She works in the entertainment industry.
She works with plenty. Every guy that's in a Hallmark movie, every guy in a Hallmark movie is gay. They're all gay.
This wokeness is really destroying things. Just one last thing I mentioned that relates to what Kathy's talking about. Then we got to take.
Well, Hallmark Channel's in trouble, I think.
Yeah. Disney with this wokeness, you may have seen there's some reports. Disney stock is tanking. And Kathy and I, we watch some people that are YouTubers that go to Disney World, and what we're noticing is that the crowds are low. And Hallmark, Disney, all these places that have gone woke, if you notice, they're going broke, and it's because they went woke.
Yeah, I think Hallmark's going to be in trouble. Yeah, because they're really embracing this
Hallmark
woke agenda.
Disney. And that's the way it is. Now, listen, we're all out of time, but we'll be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.
The newly released poetry book, Broken Wings Can Fly Too, from author Paulina Sophia, engages in free thinking and challenges the constructs of our society. This must-read book helps readers gain a new understanding of womanhood and nature. Order now. Broken Wings Can Fly Too, from author Paulina Sophia, available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon.